Um, Happy Friday to you. So, um, today, well, this week we've been talking about health. What is health? What is good health? What is health? Period. Good morning, everybody coming in. It's Lakeisha. Good morning. And so, what is health? And so, uh, it's kind of ironic that I had that. Good morning, T. Good morning, Terry. Good morning. Glad you're doing good, Devet. I came up this week. Good morning, Myra. Good morning. How are you? Um, this week we've been talking about health, and we've been talking about what is health. We talked about how health is the WHO, World Health Organization, states that the health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. And it's amazing because Tuesday morning when I was thinking about, man, just health, it just dropped in, like, what is health? What is good health? That this week we've seen a couple of famous people take their own lives, and it's so sad. So sad to see, so sad to hear. But here we are on this week concerning health and what is good health. Not the, and then it says, not, I like how the World Health Organization says the state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. And so I broke down on early this week how physical health, you have physical health, you have mental health, you have emotional health, you have spiritual health, you have financial health, you have all these different areas that require you to gauge and to do an inventory on how healthy one is in this area. And because good morning, Jean. So I think that we can a lot of times we can be healthy in one area, but then that is, if as healthy as as healthy as we are in one area, it gives a blindness to other areas that need to be tested for health and diagnosed for health as well, and what type of condition this is in. And so I like how we're bringing out this week that health is comprehensive. It's a holistic thing. It's not just one thing. It's not just one thing that can define health, how healthy we are. We must be holistic about what health is. And one elusive part of health is mental. Mental health is elusive in that it is not shown to the eyes. You can't really see mental, you can't see my mental health with me doing this video, right? You can't really see my mental health when I'm doing this video. You can't know how healthy I am mentally. You can assume. You can assume I'm healthy. You can assume I'm healthy. You can assume if I have a smile on my face that everything is going great, life is awesome, but you don't know. You don't know. Only my conscience knows. Only I know, right? Like that's what we have to do. Like talks about having a pure conscience. We have to have a clear conscience. We have to have a clear conscience because our conscience knows the truth, right? Your conscience knows the truth. I can fool anybody with a video. I can fool anybody on social media. I can fool anybody, but I can't fool my conscience. And so mental health, good mental health is where my conscience is in line and I'm getting everything that I need to get. And so it's not what it looks like. So my thing is, don't stay down. And this might not be for you, but this might be for somebody. Do not stay down. I've been down before. I've been depressed before. I've been in a season of depression before. Don't stay down. Get up. Okay? I know it sounds easier than what it actually is, but the beauty of it is we are not to be alone. We're not alone in life. We can't do life alone. We can't do life alone. So I was looking, and it just baffles me because I was looking at, Kate Spade, the purse maker, the handbag maker. She took her own life earlier this week, I think Wednesday. And then last night, I saw on my news app this morning that Anthony Bourdain took his life. Okay, and so sad. I was praying this morning. I prayed for their families, prayed for their friends. Anthony Bourdain's friends and families. I prayed for them. And so it just made me it made me think about this week about health. You know, health, mental health, how elusive mental health is. Mental health is so deceptive. Us being healthy health can be so deceiving, because I'm not going to tell you a story. I've seen Anthony Bourdain's show, and it looks like, I even told my wife loves watching CNN all the time. So I'm like, baby, like, this dude he's got it made. Okay. He travels the world. He just travels, eats and drinks. He travels all over the world and eats and drinks. And he's wealthy and successful. So by traveling the world, eating, drinking, of course he is a chef. He's a professional. He was a professional chef. But I'm like, but here we are. We're in this age of social media, like social media prowess. Like, it's a social media is like blowing up, yet we're being antisocial. Isn't that something? How we can have social media prowess, we can have the whole world can be connected. We can have the whole world connected to us socially, but we are still being antisocial to the reality of what's really going on in between our ears, what's going on in our heart, what's really going on. How can we be so social, such in a social media, just craze, but yet be antisocial? And this is something that we must deal with here. We must deal with, because, just because you're prevalent on social media doesn't mean you're not antisocial. And there's proof that this gentleman was antisocial, even though he had over 7 million followers. I looked at his Twitter this morning. Over 7 million followers, and he died all by himself. Over 7 million followers, yet he was isolated. Over 7 million followers, yet isolated. All those people, out of 7 million people, we know there's somebody who could have helped him. There's somebody who could have helped him. There's somebody who could have told him, look, no, don't stay down. Don't stay down there. Get up. Get up. Get up. And so we cannot get caught up in social media, because one thing, my question is, how can this happen? How can we be in a time where somebody can have over 7 million people that are connected to him, more than 7 million people who are in tune with him, more than 7 million people who care about him, yet he makes the decision to take his own life? This should bother us, not scare us, but it should bother us, and it should let us know, okay, how did this happen? And I believe it was because he was over 7 million people, that out of 7 million people, obviously there's a good handful of people that could have helped him. But why couldn't they help him? Why weren't the people who were equipped to help him help? Why couldn't they? Because they were not educated on what was going on in that man's life. Not what was going on the camera. Because the camera revealed that, because, it was everybody's shocked, right? Oh my God, it's shocked. Why? Because nobody knew what was going on, but his conscience did. His conscience knew he needed help. His conscience knew he was crying out. He was crying out, and no one heard him. No one heard his cry. Out of 7 million people, no one heard this man's cry. He was crying out for help. And so we can't stay down. And so I looked at this article I was looking at this morning, and it says, this was a quote from Dr. Jody Goldie. Her name was Dr. Jody Gold. She says, to be clear, success does not protect you from depression. Success does not protect you from suicide. And so I talked about what is success about, I guess, a month ago, maybe. What is success? And I'm going to tell you, success includes your mental state of being. Success is not defined by money. It's not defined by, how good or what type of, if you got an award for your show. That is not success. And because we have made success defined as money, because we've made success defined as an award, now people are trapped. They're trapped in the world's view of success, when that's not success. When if you are struggling with suicidal ideations or depression, we cannot call that success just because you have money. We need to make it in our society where no matter how much money you have, no matter how successful you are, you still need to be vulnerable enough to be able to cry out for help when you need it. No matter how successful your show was, is your mental health successful? That's the question here. That's the question here. Is all the pictures of success and all the lights and all the camera, is that covering up the cry? Is that drowning out the cry? Can we hear your cry over the lights? Can we hear your cry over the awards you received? Can we hear your cry over the shows that you're doing? Can we hear your cry? Can we hear the cry of the people that are crying out, though the world has tabbed them success, so they're safe? No, that's not success. We need to redefine success so that people aren't feeling trapped, and now they're trapped in the cage of success, and they've locked themselves in because now I can't share. I can't share because my image will be damaged. My image will be damaged. That's what the young lady said. That's what she said. She said, I can't go to the hospital because my image. So is that success? Because she was a billionaire. A billionaire, not a millionaire, a billionaire, yet she couldn't cry out because of success. She couldn't cry out. So look at this. It says, I looked at this article, it was a link from Anthony Bourdain's Twitter feed, and it says the rise of suicide rates was highest in the central northern region of the U.S., was North Dakota, for example, seeing 57% increase since 1999. Nevada was the only state that saw no increase, and Delaware saw the smallest increase, which was 5.9%. Now listen to this. It says the findings were published that the CDC, the Center of Disease and Control, it says morbidity and mortality weekly report. Guns were the most common method used for suicide, accounting for almost half of the people who died. Often the suicide seemed to happen without warning. 54% of people who killed themselves didn't have a previously known mental health issue. So 54%. So the majority of people who've taken their own lives had no previously known mental health issue. No mental health issue. So the majority of people who are taking their own lives have no documented issues mentally. This is a problem, y'all. This is a problem. This is a problem. This says that even though social media and the outreach of social media and the connection with the world is growing, what's also growing is isolation. What's also growing is isolation. So my question is, how can social media be growing and the connection with people be growing and isolation grow at the same point? It's because of image, right? It's because of image. So we have to be able to have better means and better ways to simply say, don't stay down there. Get up. Get up. Don't stay down. Get up. Get up. Now listen to this. It says instead, so out of 54% of people who killed themselves, they found that there was no previously known mental health issues. Instead, these folks were suffering from other issues, such as relationship problems, substance misuse, physical health problems, job or financial problems, and recent crises or things that were coming up in their lives that they were anticipating, okay? And it says here, it says the CDC report cites several different approaches, such as working to stabilize housing and teaching coping and problem-solving skills early in life. So they're saying we have to be able to teach problem-solving skills early in life. So it's saying a good suicide prevention is teaching people how to work through their problems, teaching people how to stabilize their housing and how to cope, teaching people how to cope, you know, and that goes back to my 5 F's yesterday. The 5 F's I talked about was the 5 F's that gives you the 5 F's for a good mental health report card. So, you know, I talked about the mental health report card and F's. These 5 F's are good. To get 5 F's on your mental health report card is good just based on my video, okay? Not based on, you know, the traditional state of education. But the first one was frequent book opening. Open up your life to people. Don't allow isolation to become who you are, to be isolated. Open up your life. Frequently open up the book of your life. Let somebody know. Let somebody know. Confess your real feelings. Confess how you're feeling. Confess how you're really feeling so that now you're not isolated to those really damaging thoughts, those self-damaging thoughts. Share with somebody. Sit down with somebody who you know cares about you. Somebody who you know cares. Somebody who you know has your best interest at heart. Sit down. Reach out to somebody. And remember, I talked about those warning signs when somebody starts to, you see people are starting to isolate themselves from you, or people that you're close to or friends. Reach out to them. Don't allow them to just stay isolated. Don't just say, well, you know, I'm going to give them their time and space. No, reach out to them. We don't know, because I guarantee you there are some people that woke up this morning, some family, some friends of Anthony Bourdain, who are wishing they would have reached out to him. There's somebody out of all of them 7 million people, there's somebody who says, I saw some changes. I saw something, but I just left it alone. We can't live with that regret, y'all. We can't live with that regret. There's something, there was something I could have done. And what is it going to hurt? What is it going to hurt to reach out if you think something's going on? Hey, are you okay? How are you feeling, man? How are things going? Just simple questions like that. No, not how's the show going? See, he needed somebody like that, didn't he? That's why success can be the most handcuffing thing when it comes to mental health, because everybody's praising, everybody's slapping him on the back. Great job, great show. But he needed somebody to say, I'm not coming to talk about your show. I'm not talking about how many followers you have. I'm not talking about how much money you made. I'm not talking about how many people watch your show. I want to know, how are you doing? How is Anthony doing? See, these are the type of people that we need in our lives. People that are going to ask about how we're doing, not how successful we've been, not how good of a speaker you are, not how good you performed on your job, not how good your show was, not how important you are to the world, but how are you doing? How are you doing? Let's get you unstuck. Let's get you out of this. I want to ask how you're doing. Well, actually, it's been crazy. You know, it's been crazy. I haven't had time to think. I haven't had to. You're going to see the essence of what's really going on with people. And you're able to tell them, okay, look, just the conversation alone is telling them, don't stay down there. Don't stay down there. Because, see, I believe people that are so successful to the world standards, they feel like they're just being used to amuse everyone. They feel like they're just being amused to entertain everybody, to make everybody laugh. Well, who's going to make me laugh, right? Everybody's just entertainment. And I've been there. I told y'all, in my most depressive state, I used to make people laugh. And that laugh was my cry. Me making people laugh was me crying out like, I need help. Someone please call 911, right? Y'all remember that song? I needed help. But my ability to amuse, entertain, or to make somebody laugh, or to teach somebody, to pull somebody up, to even pray for people, I was going downhill. My mental health state was disintegrating. It was deteriorating. It was being crushed until I absolutely got pulled up and I got some help. Don't stay down. Don't stay down. Make yourself vulnerable. Make yourself vulnerable. And the second one was forgive yourself, forgive others. Forgive yourself. Have some grace for yourself. Let yourself go. Pardon yourself. Let yourself go. Let yourself go. Unhand yourself. Say, you know what? You're not perfect. You messed up. Get up, go tell somebody. Remember I said confession is a freeing thing. It brings absolute, it brings an absolvement, an absolution. You're freed up when you confess, when you free up those thoughts, those isolated thoughts. You know, isolated thoughts can be a dangerous thing. They can be a dangerous thing when you isolate yourself to negative thoughts and things like that. Share them, release them. Pressure will bust a pipe. Freeze, release those things. Capture it and release it. Tell somebody, man, I've been struggling. When I'm struggling, I tell somebody. I tell my wife, I tell my friend, I'm struggling. I felt overwhelmed today. I just told my wife last week, I said, baby, I felt overwhelmed. I felt overwhelmed for a little moment. You know, I felt overwhelmed. And I felt so overwhelmed, I wanted to go watch porn. That's what I told my wife. I said, I felt so overwhelmed, I wanted to watch porn. And I said, and as soon as I told her, I was like, but baby, now that I shared that, now I'm looking at solutions. Now I'm looking for solutions, and I'm seeing people, this group of people, because I was writing a list of all the things I needed to do. And the list grew up to over 40 things. There was only 40 things on my to-do list, and it felt so overwhelming. And you know what? This suicide, this article, it says, it talks about how people feel so overwhelmed that you feel like there's no hope. I got too much to do, and it's only me that can do it. Look, share somebody, be vulnerable. But see, it takes humility to release yourself, right? And I told my wife, and then I got freed up. I didn't fall. I didn't isolate myself to those negative thoughts. I didn't isolate myself. I brought her in, and guess what? And then I started getting solutions. And I said, wow, I had 20 things on that list. So half my list, I incorporated involvement of other people to help me get through that long list. And it's being knocked down daily. Meetings yesterday. Had meeting with coach yesterday to help me, a coach, a mentor to help me with a big chunk of that list. You're not alone. You're not in this alone. You're not required to do life alone. You're not required to do life alone. There's a scripture in the scriptures, it says, iron sharpens iron. You can't be sharpened without somebody else. You're not meant to be doing this alone. No matter how many people you're connected with, you need somebody, at least one person that you know, hey, I need you to help me. I need you to help me. And you know what? When that happens, they'll need you to help them in something. So now you're helping each other. Iron sharpens iron, right? Iron sharpens iron. Fight for peace. Fight for your peace. You know, do some deep breathing, some talking, some music, listen to music, whatever it is. Find your hobby. Find out what you like to do. I talked about that yesterday. Hobbies help you get away. It's therapeutic. It helps you get away from the monotonous, get away from work. And now you're able to structure your time. You're able to think. You're able to cope with stress. Hobbies are proven to help you cope with stress, to help you cope with the routines of life. A hobby, it can be an hour, 2 hours. You get away, you run, you go to the gym, you exercise, you can go biking, you can go on a trail, you can go hiking. Whatever it is where you can get healthy and let your mental health grow and get stronger, and you're able to tell your conscience, look, this time is for you, conscience. I'm not just going to keep putting you on the back burner so the whole world can be amused. I'm not just going to keep putting you on the back burner so I can entertain the world. I'm not going to keep putting you on the back burner so everybody else can be good. I'm going to spend this 2 hours to make sure you, conscience, are good, to make sure you're good, to make sure you're free of mind, to make sure you can talk and be heard. You can talk and be heard, to make sure you can get your release. Your conscience needs a release, y'all. Your conscience needs a release. Don't stay down. Get up. Get up. And so, and then the last one was find your hobby. And the last one was fun. Have fun. Have fun. Okay? Have fun. Fun is always welcome. Laughter is like medicine, right? Laughter is like medicine. It's a remedy of things. It's a remedy for things. Laughter can remedy things. Sometimes laughter, making people laugh is not the remedy. Sometimes you need to laugh. You need to be the one that needs to laugh, not making people laugh. Because we've seen many comedians take their own life, right? Funny ones. But because they made everybody else laugh, but nobody made them laugh. Okay? And that's the blind spot, right? Because focus creates blindness. Focus creates blindness. Absolutely. Keep on smiling. Focus creates blindness. If my focus is to make you laugh, then who's going to make me laugh? Who's going to bring medicine to my soul? I'm issuing all this medication out. But who's going to give me some medicine? Right? And that's the cry. That's the isolated cry. That's the cry of what's the big guy, Tommy, man, I forget his name. The guy who did Black Sheep and Tommy Boy and all that stuff. No, his name ain't Tommy. That was a movie he did. But his conscience was crying out. I need to laugh. I need some attention. I need to be heard. But everybody was pulling on what he had. Everybody was pulling him out where he was empty. And we can't be empty. Now, one thing I thought about was a lesson I had brought up about 3 months ago. and it was called the 5 looks. The 5 looks. These 5. Now, this word looks, the word look, it means to stretch and to strain. It means to fasten your eyes on, to fix your eyes on something continuously and intensely, to look straight at, to keep your eyes on something. So these 5 looks mean that you are looking intently at a thing. And these things have to do with you, to look deeply in within yourself. And so these 5 looks, I don't know if you guys remember this, but the 5 looks was look at, look in, look up, look down, and look out. And so the look at was look at the big picture. A lot of times when we get the small picture, the season that we're in, I'm gonna tell you, the season that you're in, it's a small season compared to the big picture. Compared to the picture of your life, the season that you're in, it's a small thing. When you look at the big picture, that's what can pull you out of the small picture. When you look at the big picture, that's what can pull you out. But a lot of times what happens is when we're isolated, we make that little picture the big picture. And now it seems bigger than what it is. You know, I had a guy who was a friend who years and years ago, high school, took his own life. And it was after his girlfriend broke up with him. And so the truth of the matter is, it was hard. His girlfriend broke up with him. But compared to his life, compared to the gifts that he had, compared to the impact that he was to make on this world, that his girlfriend breaking up with him was such a small picture. But he couldn't see the big picture because he was isolated. So the small picture was the big picture in the moment, and he made a rush decision. One thing I was reading this morning, people who commit suicide, they say it is an impulsive decision. Like it's a quick decision. And that's why guns are such a big problem when it comes to suicide. Because guns, when you make an impulse decision, gun can make you pull it, and it's impulsively. So most suicides are done by way of the gun. And so they say it's a quick. And so if you look at the big picture, if you're looking closely at the big picture of, and guess what? You know what? I'm going to make it out of this. The reason why you're here today, the reason why you're watching this is because you made it out of something that tried you. You made it out of something that said you're not going to make it. And look at you now. You made it out of it. You made it out of it. So now that picture now is not so big anymore because now you're standing on the outside looking at it. I made it out. Everybody on here, you've been through something that you were thinking, man, I might not make it out of this. This thing is hard. This thing is hard. At our leadership meeting last night, I was telling our leaders, I says, everything, we must commit to being positive because every single situation that we face in life can be spent. There can be positive fruit. Every negative situation we face, there's positive fruit that can come from it. And it can feed you for years to go down the line, for years. And I look at my life, the hardest things I've been through, I have positive fruit from it. And so do you. Everything you've been through, there's positive fruit. You don't have to stay down in there. You didn't stay down in there, did you? You didn't stay down in there. You got up, you got out, and you learned some things, and you realized, man, I felt like I wasn't going to make it, but look at me now. Use that for the big picture. Look at the big picture. Look in. Get to know yourself. Give your conscience some time. And this goes back to the hobby thing, the thing where you receive the therapeutic measures, where you get therapy. Where you get the therapy and you're not always giving therapy, but you're receiving it. And so we have to look in. We have to look in. Know yourself. Date yourself. I like T.D. Jakes says it. He says, you got to date yourself. You got to know you. He said, I've dated me. I know me. I know my strengths and weaknesses. I know, and based on my weaknesses, if I know my weaknesses, now I know where I'm deficient. And when I know where I'm deficient, now I can absolutely call on help. I can call on some help because I know me. I know me. I know my weaknesses. Now I can build my team up with people who are strong where I'm weak, right? No one's all sufficient. We all have weak areas that need help. All of us, each and every one of us. We all have weak areas that need help. So, and then look up at the big picture. Look inside yourself. Then look up. Look up to somebody. Get somebody that you can look up to and share. Be vulnerable with them. Be vulnerable with them. Share what's going on. That's why I said mentors are crucial. They're crucial to me. They're crucial. Coaches are crucial because these are people you got to be accountable to, right? And they're there to help you. You know, a good coach is only there to help you. So yeah, he might point out your weaknesses, but he don't point out your weaknesses to stay your weaknesses. He points out your weakness so that they can become strength, so that they can help you with the big picture. They can help you be the best person that you can be it in whatever it is, be it sports, be it, you know, business, be it your job, be it health, be it eating. We need coaches. We need coaches. Look down. And this one is big. Look down. Have an eye and a heart for people who are down. Have an eye. Look for people who are down. Look for people who are down. Lift people up. Because if you look down, now you can lift somebody up. Because you were lifted up. Every last one of us have been lifted up by somebody at some point of time in our lives. So that means somebody reached down and pulled us up. We must do the same thing. We must be able to, yes, Chris Farr, that's it. We must be able to look down so that we can lift up. Because people are crying out. People are crying out. And we got to make time. We got to make time to look down, to lift people, to move or bring something upward from the ground, or upward support, or into a higher position. You have power to lift somebody. You got power to lift somebody, to lift someone. If a person needs to tear somebody down to lift themselves up, then that person is low themselves. So, but you have something in you to look down, to only to lift up, to look down, to lift up. I love this. I love this. Even though he was, this is talking about Joseph in the scriptures. Joseph was locked up. He was in prison, but Joseph was looking at the conscience of people around him. When people were down around, he was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And this is a mental health beast. This is a beast to improve mental health. When you can be in a condition, but you're still able to look when people are down, and you're able to see people down, and you can lift them up. And you know what? Him lifting other people up while he was down, that was actually his transportation up. His transportation upward came when he lifted someone else up when he was down. So no matter where you are, you can lift somebody up. You can lift someone up. And that very person he lifted up was actually the means of him getting out of prison. He came out of prison because of him lifting up somebody when he was down. When he was down. And so that principle is powerful. That principle is powerful. So look down, lift people up. You never know when that you lifting up somebody else will pay off for your destiny. You never know. You never know. Somebody will be like, "You know what? I got somebody I need to show some kindness to." I remember years ago, I was in a low place and they lifted me up. People will never forget that. You'll never forget somebody who lifted you up when you were in a low place. You'll never forget them. You'll never forget them. And guess what? They'll never forget you. When you lift up somebody when they're in a low place, they'll never forget you. And you never know when you're going to need help. It might be solicited from somebody that you helped years ago, weeks ago. You never know. You never know. So, and the next one, the last one is look out. Look out. Look out. Your uniqueness is needed by the world. Your uniqueness is needed. So now that you've looked in, you've paid your conscience some attention. You've paid your conscience the attention it needs. You didn't just get caught up in the routines of life, and your conscience was not free. You're free to speak, and your conscience was heard. You are unique. You are unique, and you must, I say, look out, world. Here you come. Here you go. Here you come. You are unique. You are unique, and the world needs your uniqueness. The world needs your uniqueness, but you must look in first. You must look out, look for help, look up, look for somebody you know can lift you out. Because every last human being on the earth is good. Your time will come where you will need to be lifted up. And every time will come where you will need to lift somebody else up, where you need to lift somebody else up. But you got to have an eye for it. You have to have an eye. You have to have an eye for people who are down. You have to have an eye for people you're down. If you're able, you can lift them up. You can lift them up. And so I really just wanted to, and I want to share this last thing here. I want to share a scripture at the end. That scripture, it really goes just to encourage somebody where temptation and life has come to kind of just really challenge your essence of who you are, to challenge you. But this scripture is beautiful. It says, there's no temptation that's not common. to man. So what this says is, I'm not alone. Somebody's gone through what I've gone through and made it out of it. But when you're isolated, you think that there's nobody who understands, nobody's been through what you've been through. But this scripture says there's no temptation, there's no testing it's just a test. Remember, it's only a test, y'all. It's not the test is not to move you, but it's to prove you. It's to prove that you are able, you are strong enough to come out of this thing. You can come out of it. You're able. It says there's no temptation that's not common to man. So there are men and women who've been through what you're in right now, and they came out. And it says, God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. So that means if it's on you, guess what? You're strong enough to bear it. If it's on you, you're strong enough to bear it. And then he says, but when you are tempted, he will also make a way for escape. So there's always a way of escape. There's always somebody in your network of people that can cause an escape for you. We don't have to end up like the Anthony Bourdain, praying for his family, praying for him, praying for his friends and family. But guess what? There was a way out. There was somebody in all those 7.4 million people that followed him, that cared about, that were interested in him. Out of those 7.4 million people, there was an escape for him. But isolation totally prohibited him from seeing that escape. Isolation prohibited him from seeing it. It blinded him from seeing it. And the focus on his issues blinded him from his help. So, y'all, let's be a help to one another. Let's be a help to one another, and let's know that you are able to get up. You don't have to stay down there. You don't have to stay down there. So I hope this encouraged someone. There won't be more on you than what you can bear. You can handle it. You can bear it. You can bear it. Reach out to somebody who's going through. There's probably 1 million people who've been through what you're going through, or what you've been through, or what you're going to go